everyone. It's the debut of Season 3 here on Duderonomy, and don't worry, Splinter, we're not slacking off. I'm Dan.
And I'm Bryan.
And this is Season 3, Episode 1, Beneath These Streets.
First broadcast, September 25th, 1989, written by our old friend Michael Reeves and directed by the consummate Bill Wolfe. Welcome back after our brief hiatus. Hope you're well rested. I did some soul searching, got in touch with my inner ninja, fell off a ladder and had a vision. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing all right. No falling for me, thankfully. I hope you're okay.
Before we start, I just want to make a quick PSA. Fuck you, Viacom.
Yeah, we're not happy about this one, folks.
So we realized a little late in the game that it's very difficult to obtain Season 3 and beyond of the original 1987 produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series by CBS Television because they decided to not put it on their proprietary platform, Paramount Plus, Amazon, Vudu, or anything else in between. Fuck you, Viacom.
Yeah, digitally it's very difficult to come by, which is very strange for, I mean, it's a pretty popular show. Pretty popular brand. I'm sure it's like hung up in some licensing agreements or something, but like, how can they, what do they do? Sign an exclusive with like just one service or something? That seems kind of crazy.
No, absolutely 100% under non-disclosure agreement from my departure from CBS in the past 3 years. Come fucking get me. They're idiots. They're fucking dumbasses. They have piggybacked everything on their platform to try to, I don't know, rejigger every potential piece of profit that they could get out of it, and they're fucking morons. Fuck you, Viacom.
I feel like we're gonna have two versions of this episode, and there's this one, and then there's the one that after we get the cease and desist.
No, they ain't coming to get me. But yeah, I wanted to give y'all money, but we're gonna find alternative methods. Onwards.
Like a couple years from now, when we have a much larger audience, Viacom's going to come after us in our backlogs. But thank you very much to everyone who's listening now. You're the best.
Yeah, all 17 of you. It's really honestly been great. Like, we've got some new faces in our Discord. It's been super fun. Legit. Like, join the conversation. We really hope to have you, and I'll probably be in jail 6 months from now. Anyways. Just 9 months after the conclusion of Season 2, we get our big rush into the big Season 3 47 episode slam bang.
Here we go, folks. This is where the real game begins.
Let us recap briefly. The Technodrome is now at the center of the Earth, and that's it.
Yeah. This is the thing we're going to come back to, because there's a lot of, I feel like there's some tropes that people think of regularly when they consider the 87 cartoon, and a lot of them start to come into play here. Like the whole drill car thing debuts in this season.
Yes. I just think it's funny that we've reached Season 3, and there have been no other significant consequences than the villains have been displaced twice.
Yeah. Well, it's also like there's just continues to be really weird things about this world. Like, I get, don't get me wrong. I know I think too much into this, and I'm not trying to be one of those people that like nitpicks every little thing. But like, if I don't, we don't have a show.
Yeah.
But the Technodrome in the end of last season sank into lava.
Yes.
And now it's at the center of the Earth.
Sure.
Which in this episode is demonstrated as a big ass cave.
Okay, before you get into that, I did want to like point out how awesome I thought the Technodrome looked at the center of the Earth. Like, I thought it looked sincerely metal as hell. Like, it's dope as shit. Like, it's all cascaded in like underlighting, and we got rock soldiers out trying to like patch up the holes and stuff. I don't know. It looked really fucking metal to me.
Oh, no, it's a great cover. Absolutely. Like, it is a great shot. Whoever did the art on this particular part, like A+ on the scenery in the background, this was really good.
I think it's my favorite location for the Technodrome. amongst all the other positioning it's had in the series, from like under Manhattan, bottom of the ocean, a fucking asteroid, and an outer space and Dimension X. Like Earth's core, like that's metal, dude.
I'm looking up now. How far away is the Earth's core? Okay, so there's a couple things here, because in the last season's last episode and in this episode, they talk about how they're at the core of the Earth.
Yep.
But Krang also says specifically that they are 5 miles below the Earth's surface.
That is not the core, not even by a long shot.
No, because I just looked it up, and the core is found about 1,802 miles below Earth's surface. So I feel a little bit better about, like, it not being just lava.
I don't recall him making that statement, but I'll take your word for it.
Oh, he makes a joke. It's either in... I'm sorry, I watched a couple episodes, so it's either in this episode or it's in the next one, where they get the Channel 6 news broadcast, and he says, wow, that's not bad reception for 5 miles under the surface of the Earth.
Damn. Okay. This might be a bit of a throwback to our previous episode at the end of season 2, but Michael Reeves really needs to reconsider what distance is.
Right? He's got a bad issue when it comes to distances.
Niagara Falls, that's 5 miles north. The Earth's core, that's 5 miles down.
It's got to be the next episode. I'm getting a little bit of a jump on next week's, but man, we're introducing season 3, and so I think all of this is pertinent. It just feels really silly that, like, we watched the Technodrome sink into lava, and there ain't no damage to it except for internally the engine, I guess.
It had a foot-thick titanium alloy core, like that. They said that.
Yeah, they did.
And it means nothing.
I mean, yes, it does mean nothing, but I don't know. It just feels like I didn't know if the show was going for like a hollow Earth theory or something like that.
Ooh, oh boy, that is something to explore, considering how many underground civilizations the Ninja Turtles franchise has discovered over the years.
Right? Absolutely.
All right, let's open the show. Scene 1, sewer lair. Raph is watching some Rock'em Sock'em Robots on TV. Honestly, that's kind of sick. I kind of want to watch that movie. Donnie's tinkering with some doohickey. Leo's reading a book on the couch, and Mikey's making granola and licorice pizza for everybody for dinner. That's 2 strikes. 2 strikes, Mikey. First, the pineapple on pizza, and now licorice? Really?
Yeah, let's just hope it's not black licorice.
That's like that's kind of presumed standalone licorice, isn't it?
I don't know a single person that likes that kind of licorice,
No.
so it would be very weird to me for someone to refer to it as the default.
No, absolutely nobody likes black licorice. It's like a genetic thing. Honest to God, I'd rather stink bugs and flies at this point.
Like, so Twizzlers makes a Hershey's licorice.
Ugh.
So like chocolate licorice, which I like. It's a nice snack for when you're making an 8-hour drive. But that's besides the point. The looks that I have gotten from people who think I'm eating black licorice, it's hilarious. Anybody else who has gotten black licorice in their Halloween candy, sound off in our Discord or Twitter. Holy shit. We were a depraved generation. So Leo clarifies actually that earlier in the day, Michelangelo served them peanut butter and pickle pizza for lunch. Yep. They can't have any more pizza. They're already stuffed.
They're already stuffed, but at least I think that there's something to this ingredient blend.
Oh my god.
Like, I don't want to condone it, but I don't know. Watching enough cooking shows on YouTube, I see like the acid and the vinegar of the pickles playing against the umami flavor of the peanuts. I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
Maybe. Let's ask the audience to try it out and let us know.
I wonder if that's in my Ninja Turtle cookbook I got for Christmas.
I mean, it's gotta be, right?
I hope so. Also, is Donatello just making a tiny robot turtle?
That is what it looks like.
Right?
I don't know what else. At first, it's like, oh, he's like building something, and then it just looks like he made a turtle.
But shortly afterwards, enter Splinter.
And he's pissed.
Yeah, he mad. He real mad.
Big mad Splinter.
He's mad that they're not practicing.
Why are you not doing your daily katas?
Leonardo says,
We thought we deserved a little vacation.
That is the thing that any parent/teacher wants to hear.
that we deserve time off.
We're not doing our thing because we deserved a vacation.
It's a very Gen Z philosophy on the entire topic. I want to say my notes just say Jesus fucking Christ 1 minute and 47 seconds in.
Is it because of like the very bad racial stereotype / possible slur that Splinter says?
That's at 1 minute and 49 seconds, but at 1 minute and 47 seconds, we have the most horrifying Splinter face ever put to print.
Oh, yeah, well, he's just like, he's big mad. That's big mad Splinter.
He's super big mad. He's full screen big mad, edge to edge. But yeah, excuse me, Splinter, could you repeat what you said when you attacked your children?
Yeah.
Hold on, one more time.
It is episode 1 of season 3, and they have started in less than 2 minutes, and I know that the 90s, or I guess 89, right? Is this 89?
89.
I know it was a different time and all, but come on, be better than this.
Yeah, there were so many other, let's say, quote-unquote gibberish words that they could have wedged in there.
Yeah.
And he rolled back on Sacagawea?
Such a weird thing.
Regardless of that, though, he goes on an absolute fucking warpath, and...
Now you fucked up! Now you fucked up! Now you have fucked up!
Yeah. It's kind of amazing because he wipes the floor with the turtles, and it's all just throws.
Why does he go after Raph first?
Because he's the tough one, right?
Raph is the only one who didn't mouth off to him.
That is true. He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like, Raph hasn't said anything. He's had his face in the TV. He's watching this robot movie, minding his own fucking business. Not cool, Splinter. Give the guy a break. I mean, we know that you binge watch soap operas.
I just love
Fucking
that he
hypocrite.
beals everyone. Just like, he's doing flips and just like picking everyone up and throwing them as hard as he can across the room.
I was going to lean into you to see if that's a wrestling move.
The first one for sure is a Beal. If you're looking for a good example, YouTube Keith Lee, because man, does that guy know how to Beal someone across the ring. It's amazing. But Splinter, man, he A+ demonstration as well. I love how hard Splinter comes out this season.
Yeah, like no mercy at all. He hucks the 4 boys across the room in this like absolutely beautifully chaotic, like yet methodical march through the living room. It's kind of amazing to watch. He just picks up everybody by the back of their shells and just over the shoulders them with zero effort whatsoever.
It's amazing both for the smoothness of the animation and also just for how no chill Splinter is. He's usually so calm and collected and, like knowing exactly what's going to happen. And in this case, he still does know exactly what's going to happen, but he's just like, I got no qualms about beating up my kids right now.
Well, his kids think that they all deserve a break. They just vanquished Shredder and Krang, and then Splinter says, you ain't got no proof. You got to stay sharp.
True.
And then he calls them crime fighters for the first time, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of responsibility to lay on a bunch of teenagers.
To be fair, he does go out on by himself in this episode too, so he's not leaving it exclusively in their court.
He's not, but I don't know. Like in other iterations of the Turtles, it's more of a personal thing, right? They fight crime because they've got themselves interweaved into like a rivalry, or that they just happen upon something that no one else knows is going on and they want to stop it before it gets like topside, I guess. I don't know. Like this has to be the first time between Mirage, IDW, 2K3, 2012, Rise, everything, where it was formally stated like, you protect the city, with great power comes great responsibility, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so I feel like the other times that the Turtles get caught up in the whole crime fighting is that they get caught up in it. Like, because Shredder is organizing crime in many iterations of the Turtles. That's why they get caught up in stopping crime. It's so that they can like narrow down what's his plan, where he is, how can we get revenge for Splinter, like all that different stuff. I think the one exception maybe is in the current IDW run, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll leave it at that. But there is like an element where
a redemption arc.
Well, not even that. I was thinking more recently with their like essentially becoming deputized.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything more because I am afraid that we're going to give away too much. If you're listening to this podcast, you better be fucking reading the IDW comics. But yeah, like a lot of the other iterations, at least, you know, there's a personal aspect to it, right? The Turtles are fighting something in a defensive mode, and they just happen to be heroes because of it.
Yeah, I buy that.
I don't know. I might have dug too deep on that one. But the Mighty Morphin Ninja Turtles are sworn to protect New York City as they're mandated by their dad.
I need some teens with attitude.
And they all stand in formation on the custom turtle shell rug that they had commissioned. 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Anyways.
10 flips now. Keep practicing.
Next scene. Let's pause to appreciate just how fucking sick and metal. We talked about this earlier. The lighting on the Technodrome. Jesus Christ, man. Like, I love this so much. It looks so good. It's throwing straight back to Return of the Technodrome in the finale of Season 2 when Shredder's, like, cascaded in the red kind of laser light that's coming up. The Obi-Wan fight.
What's weird to me is that in the same episode, you get so many variations of the character models, but you can get these backdrops and detailed scenes that are just awesome. And I know that's because there are different people on each of the art teams where like one person is focusing on characters and there's another team that's working on the backdrops and scenes and stuff. But it is still really interesting to see that difference in the same episode, because the Turtles, I feel like, jump around pretty frequently in this episode. We get another instance of their like heads being really big for no reason.
Yeah, we have a lot of animation errors to still touch on, but I mean, it's easy to shit on stuff, right? And we're still here to do that and make fun, but at the same time, I really want to express my love for the matte paintings because those backgrounds are sick.
I'm not trying to shit on it by any means. I'm just making an observation.
A good podcast equals shits and equal loves.
Exactly. Because even in the next scene, there's like a really great New York City backdrop that just looks beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to call out the Times Square painting they did that is absolutely not accurate whatsoever, but still looks kind of cool on the page.
Yeah, exactly.
So continuing on, I want to add some bonus appreciation that in the exchange between Shredder being his super whiny self and wanting to return to the surface, and like seriously, Shredder's he's such a fucking simp in this. Like, he's a science geek, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But, like, I've seen some other conversations floating around on the internet, Reddit, and whatever, where he's got this, like, atypical mad scientist vibe that's, like, a prerequisite for the 1980s villain, I guess, in an animated series. And I'm totally down with that. But after that, he's just Luke Skywalker in New Hope, and he's a bitch.
I think he gets a little bit better. There's a couple moments in this season where he starts to show a little bit of a backbone to Krang, which is nice.
Then you're ahead of me, because I've only watched this first episode so far. Sidebar, I really love that in the 87 series we get to see Krang working joystick controls in his android body. It's such a stupid throwaway thing. But in every other iteration, the Utroms just kind of wedge into the android bodies. You don't fully understand how they run, how they control them. And it's heavily implied in like 2012 CG series that they're telekinetic kind of thing, because like the Utroms go into the bellies and close their eyes, and
yeah.
But it's never confirmed, and I kind of love that 80s aesthetic of like the little brain alien thing, like running cranks and levers and stuff. I just think that's so fucking cool looking.
It's a fun little detail, and it gives the animation something for Krang to do, so it's not just a brain sitting there.
Yeah, like he actually has gesticular actions. He's not just speaking lines.
And it makes it more weird, too. You know, it's not just like, oh, there's a face in his belly. It's like, no, there's a whole being that is moving things around. And isn't that weird?
Is that why we got severely into, like, mechs and stuff with Gundam and Pat Labor in the early 90s?
Maybe. I mean, the plot here for this episode is pretty funny, I think. Because, like, never before have they talked about how parts of the Technodrome are organic.
I mean, it's only convenient.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. Like, every week it's a new, like, convenient thing that they just thought of so that they could have a 22-minute episode. But it still is really funny, and there's this great spot where Krang is trying to explain it to Shredder about what happened, and he's like, the computer has an owie. You son of a bitch. You're just degrading him at that point.
I missed that line. I missed that line completely. I was just, like, completely focused on, like, Krang being the warlord, because, like, he goes on and he says, like, we're going to send you topside because we need this fucking MacGuffin that can power the Technodrome back up, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, this is a callback for me because I think in our second or third episode in this podcast, we observed that the drill pod things, right? They come up with attached legs, I guess, from the Technodrome. Let's just kind of under Manhattan by 100 feet or whatever it is. And I was always like, didn't the drill cars disconnect?
Yeah, this is the most convoluted system of travel. I'm glad you brought this up because I was trying to figure out like how exactly this works. And the best thing that I could think of, and this is definitely me overthinking it, is that the Technodrome sank through all that lava and is now in like solid ground core of the earth, right?
Yeah.
So my guess is that to go back up to the surface, Krang had to retrofit these tubes for whatever their original purpose was, which was, I mean, hand wavy bullshit, to like go through the lava so that like the drill cars can hit rock again and go into the city. Because the tubes themselves don't actually go up to the surface. We only ever see the drill cars actually break ground.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that the tubes go through the lava, the drill cars travel through the lava in the tubes, and then they hit ground above and drill to the surface.
You hold on to that. You hold on to that theory. We'll come back to it.
Oh, it makes absolutely no sense anytime you see them leave, because there's no way there are that many tubes that they can exit the way that they do.
No. It's just proof that I'm not crazy because, yeah, like in the beginning, they had these like elongated pipes that they came out of, and now it's just like, oh no, they're freestanding subway cars.
Yeah, okay, so you were talking about how like in the previous seasons how they traveled from the Technodrome, and now they have the drill cars.
Yeah, they had pipes that the cars would go up through these pipes, but they weren't freestanding. They were attached to the Technodrome, so it was like a tentacle almost.
Yeah.
But now the what does he call them? The antimatter cannons are the pipes,
right?
And then the drill things are called pneumatic modules because sure,
love it.
I just like proof that I'm not insane. That those cars were freestanding. They pop out of the ground. They don't need to be attached to the Technodrome.
So that's what I meant before, where like. Before we're rewatching this, the thing in my head is the drill cars. Like, they're very famous from this show. I have the Transformer vehicle toys, and one of them is Shredder that transforms into the drill car. So, like, that's what I was in my head, too. And we were surprised when we saw the whole, like, connected tube thing in the first season.
Right.
And now it's like, okay, season 3, now we have the actual thing that becomes standard for, you know, either the rest of the season or just what stands out in everybody's mind.
Shredder's mom finally gave him the keys to the car.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
So anyways, Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady are on their way to the surface with hopes of eliminating the turtles along the way. Next scene. TMNT are driving the party wagon through a completely abandoned Times Square, sent on patrol by Splinter after 6 hours of exercising, which they're of course bitching about, And here's something I want you to look at with me. The animation in this episode, we've kind of come to terms that they've settled back on the laurels of like a little more cartoony, brighter colors, but they're still kind of divvying it up between different studios to try to make deadline, right? Between 4 minutes and 4 minutes and 25 seconds, the animation style changes drastically. The color palette, facial structure, mask placement, everything shifts. They must have done some kind of like punch-in or something. Have you noticed this?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. At 4 minutes and like 19 seconds, that shot of the turtles in the van is closer to like, if you remember the action figures that were the like toon ones, they look almost exactly like that in terms of like the brightness of the models and the masks and stuff, and like the eye shape and everything. And prior to that, when they're showing them first tired, it's like a completely different studio.
Yeah, like I think it's right at 420 or something like that. It shifts.
Yeah.
And it's clearly a different animation style completely.
Like 412, it's the character models are like super dark with these soft lines and a little bit of like upturned nose, and you get like the actual eyelids.
Yeah.
And then in the very next shot at like 418, everything is like way brighter. The faces look completely different. They're a little bit less defined.
But there's dynamic shading.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Very weird. The Turtles come upon a movie theater that's showing a kung fu marathon. They want to go in and indulge, but Leo, the Boy Scout, says,
Master Splinter might not like that idea.
And that fully cements him into the wet napkin status.
Yeah. Okay, real quick question about the movie, or the movie theater. When you read the title of the movie, did you think it was 2 movies or one long title?
Honestly, I wasn't paying attention. What were the titles?
Okay, so at 4 minutes and 28 seconds, the marquee of the movie theater is shown, and it says Kung Fu Commandos versus Chainsaw Cheerleaders. And the way that it's designed looks like it could be one movie called Kung Fu Chainsaw and the other one called Commandos versus Cheerleaders. And it just occurred to me that it's actually one title.
That sounds Japanese. That's all I'm going to say.
It's just Kung Fu Commandos versus Chainsaw Cheerleaders, which, I mean, that's probably a really funny movie.
As someone who has watched a movie called Chainsaw Geishas, yeah, I'm here for that. But after Leo worries about Dad being disapproving of their activities, he completely folds like a deck of cards.
He's tired. They need a break.
They deserve a break. That's the ongoing narrative.
They deserve a break. It feels like they set up this whole, like, again, time in this show makes no sense. There is no time. I can't tell if they've been doing the 6-hour training and patrol at night for like multiple days, or if they're just complaining this much after one day.
I took it as one day because they bitch as, well, teenagers would.
Yeah.
But they get parked and they go dress up in their winter puffy coats, trouser, color coordinated beanie combos. FaZe is fully exposed as they approach the ticket booth and request 4 tickets.
With 2 hands.
Yeah, Raph holds up his 3-fingered hands to demonstrate 4. And there's a magnificent exchange between him and this ticket taker lady who looks at her 5-digit hands. And then she's apparently on shrooms and just stares at them for a while. And then makes no other questions as the transaction concludes.
Yeah, I mean, she makes like a wisecrack about how she thought the movies were weird, but...
At this point, I want to insert a Turtles Did It First.
Uh-oh, Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it. Don't have a...
Cowabunga!
Man.
I'm making this an official segment and jingle. It's been too prevalent. We've talked about the tech foresight that the Turtle Comms have brought to our collective remembrance, pop sockets, but there's also legitimate societal behavioral prediction here. So Donnie tells his brothers to turn off the Turtle Comms before they go in the movie theater. And once again, we recognize that cell phones did exist in the 80s, but it was always kind of a courteous thing, like a courtesy thing. to not have a noisy device going off in a movie theater, an enclosed area, beepers, personal assistants, whatever.
Yeah, it was a very good movie etiquette.
But it wasn't commonplace in the 80s. Like, I remember when the whole silence your phone thing became, like, common language between moviegoers, and that was definitely, like, the mid-90s. Anyways, I just, like, it's good manners. It's good manners.
There wasn't a don't ruin the movie thing yet.
Yeah, that didn't come until, like, 93 or 94 or something, I think. They keep pushing this narrative that they all deserve a break. They're going to turn off their comms. And as an aside, the official synopsis for this episode says, the Turtles learn the cost of slacking off.
Yeah. Needless to say, we won't have a hard time finding the moral of the story this time.
Yeah, finally. In the next scene, Shredder and Bop and Rock, they're surfacing in a dingy warehouse. Jesus fucking Christ. Is there an industrial real estate boon in the 1980s that I did not know about? There's like an endless supply of warehouses for these guys to turn up in. Or is this just like a basement with like a laundry room or something?
I couldn't tell if this was meant to be like the basement of wherever the press conference is, because Splinter and April find them like very quickly after what is about to happen. And so, I mean, like, it would make sense if it was just the basement of wherever this conference was. But it does look like there's a washing machine in the background, like a really normal looking basement, except for the fact that the perspective of the drill coming through the ground is like way off, and the boxes look huge.
Yeah, scaling is not a thing anymore in this show. I do like this cross section, however, that happens as the drill pod thing is coming up through the earth and all the layers that it bursts through. Do you remember those books when we were kids that had like all the cross sections, like a Star Wars one that would show you the Death Star or a Star Destroyer or like a walker? I also remember like visual maps and books about stuff like, you know, subway systems, but most importantly, something like the Titanic.
You would go like layers deep on the thing, start at the surface, and then like dig in to see more detail.
Yeah, but it was all broken out in like a book, a paper book, which I know is a kind of a lost art form in this world.
They're paperbacks still.
Barely. Bebop and Rocksteady complain about how unpleasant the ride in the drill module was, and to be fair, Krang did warn them it would be unpleasant, but they complain about the dust and dirt messing with their sinuses, and boys, I can see the inside of that drill. That thing's got padded, comforted shaped seats, and I think you need to nut up.
They really ride that joke though. Like every single time they pop out of the drill car, they're coughing, they're like throwing dust, like waving their hands to get dust out of their face. Like,
yeah, I wanted to ask if you thought that joke actually went anywhere, because like definitely doesn't feel like it.
I mean, it's not a good joke. It's not funny. It's more of just like set dressing, really. It's just texture for the travel, right?
Yeah, I wanted to make a joke earlier on in the script, like when they first use it, in anticipation that by the time we got to the final altercation or whatever, that they would be upset by it and it would cause like a problem, like, oh, Bebop and Rocksteady are having a coughing fit and they can't find Shredder. Not how it works at all.
Nope, not at all.
But meanwhile, Splinter is concerned that the boys have not returned from their time on the surface and he can't get them on the comms. Also, meanwhile, April is setting up a report, I guess, in the auditorium for this press conference thing.
They're covering a press conference.
Vernon's shooting it. And she gets a call on the comms and she dips out to powder her nose and...
Hey, it's the 80s.
Sidebar. Splinter has a better Zoom etiquette than all of our boomer parents combined.
I mean, you're starting off with Splinter actually knowing how to use the damn thing.
He's got good framing. He's got comprehension of brevity. He knows how... yeah, it's all big ups.
And we are getting both models of TurtleCom in this one shot, which is pretty fun.
The slide shot and the flip open.
Here you go.
So the conference is underway, talking about a Medigun. a Medi laser.
Yeah, don't worry, folks. They did make time to make Vernon be a piece of shit.
Women reporters. Ugh.
If you were worried that they weren't going to make some comment about women reporters, don't worry. They fit that in there.
Yeah, Michael Reeves, I had you in very high regard early on, but
it's like it's so pointless that, like, you know, we obviously as the audience know that April is not powdering her nose, that it is code that she uses as an excuse to go talk to the turtles or take a call. But man, like, just had to fit in that one scene of Vernon coming in to be like, hey, we're going to miss the press conference, and then be like, women reporters. Like, what the fuck, man?
it's a product of its time.
It's just dumb.
Anyways, conveniently, this is the exact device being unveiled in the press conference that the Shredder needs.
I love this gun.
Why?
This feels like you want to talk about Turtles did it first. Like, this is the gun from Team Fortress.
All I saw was the dermal regenerator from Star Trek.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's not it's not an original thought to have a gun that heals things, but man, that is such a. I'll talk about how funny I think this gun is in a moment.
This, to date, might be the actual most convenient weapon we've seen unveiled.
Oh yeah, man! It's not some weird alien crystal. It's a functioning thing. It just works. It does its job.
It does technically do its job until Krang actually tries to fire it, finding out that what is it called? The directional.
I mean, that's a little bit. That's like the next scene. Do you want to get to that now? Or
I mean, what else is there to cover? We got a smash and grab. April is getting sent to voicemail because the Teenage Mutant Slacker Turtles have turned off their phones to go into the movies. She calls Splinter to come help her out.
Yeah. I mean, so we get a shot of like the Turtles at the movie, and then instead of going back home, they go get pizza instead. So it's once again them slacking off.
They also have one of the greatest meta jokes right here because the Turtles exit the theater and say, someone should really make a movie about us.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, it's got a nice ring to it.
And for what it's worth, the Ninja Turtle movie premiered exactly 8 months and 5 days after this episode.
Well underway.
So April and Splinter are blazing through Manhattan, an empty Manhattan as always.
Yep.
Listening to the radio news, and the female news reporter on the radio is in fact played by Renee Jacobs. So yeah, April is listening to her own scoop get scooped out from underneath her.
And then they find a building. They're standing outside a building. Splinter makes a great observation. He goes, someone in that building has just got back from the hospital. And April is amazed. How can you tell?
My keen sense of smell detects the odor of disinfectant. Also that ambulance is double parked in front of it.
I mean, that joke made me laugh out loud, but
No, that's a good joke. Like 100%. I'm not lampshading that. That is a funny joke.
were they fully leaning into the, like, Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady just stole an ambulance to get away from the hospital that they apparently broke up through the basement of?
I guess so. Or this is their warehouse hideout, and they went to the hospital, stole the thing, stole an ambulance, and came back to their hideout to get in the drill and leave.
They skip so much to try to fit these episodes into 22 minutes.
It's true. Like every single scene transition could be 4 minutes. It could be 4 days.
Yeah, but usually we have somebody in the script to move things along, so April says, it must be Shredder!
Just as I feared, Shredder is alive. Yeah, no duh.
So Splinter busts in through the warehouse that Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady are trying to manually reset the drill pod to go back down to the Technodrome. It's just really funny to me that that's like a feature of manual labor, I guess.
I mean, that the drill car, the way that it actually drills down is hilarious. Because it just like magically rotates 90 degrees straight down on the ground.
Yeah, it kind of negates their entire effort to try to like physically spin it around because the thing just flips up. But Ratman displays the same toss move that he used against his beloved sons on Bebop and Rocksteady, chucks them across the room.
Yeah, it takes them out very easily.
And then Shredder reverses the polarity, quote unquote, of the med laser so that it just hurts Splinter.
This is my favorite part. I love this because of how it makes no sense at all. This was a device that was designed by a scientist at a hospital to heal people. First of all, the fact that it is a gun, like very visibly a rifle, is amazing. So American, so on brand. I want to help people, but it's got to look like a gun. Second, that it had... just so we're clear, audience, this isn't a thing where Shredder like hot wires the gun to reverse the polarity and make it hurt people. No, it had a setting. It had a pre-made setting. It was there's a handle on top that you just flip in the other direction, and now it's a death ray.
The gun just has heal everything and no.
Oh my god, like it's so good. It is such a plot contrivance and of the beautiful kind. But don't worry, if you were worried about Splinter getting shot, he does get shot, but he also has a stick, which he throws at the laser, making part of it fall off.
And a very important part, as we come to find out later on, and then April tracks Splinter back to the lair so that he can heal, and we'll be right back after these messages from Playmates.
It's the Evil Foot Clan's mutant module! Shredder and his henchmen have used it to drill into the underground gold vault!
We're here.
Can they just drive in and take whatever they want?
Why not?
Because Splinter and the Turtles are hovering nearby in their turtle copter!
Hey guys, something's afoot.
Shredder's getting away, but with the turtle copters punching skids, he's a pushover!
It's foot washing time.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
From Playmates!
And we're back. Back at the lair. April's got Splinter home, resting, but he is very dire.
Okay, real quick. Obviously, Splinter gets like hurt in this. And is anybody else getting like real Arrested Development and that's why you don't go to movies vibes?
That's why you always leave a note.
Son of a bitch. How do you keep tying these shows back together?
It was just the first thing that like hit me. It was like this whole thing is set up as if it was that episode from that gag from Arrested Development where like everything is just a lesson.
I watch these with you and I don't draw these ties. How do you do that?
It's just how my brain works.
Fucking hell.
Because it's not just that like Splinter gets hurt in this. He's in a coma.
I mean, according to Donatello, by glancing at him.
Right. Well, yeah. So much of this is like it happens so rapid fire. Like the Turtles come home and they're like, "What happened to Splinter?" And April's like, "He got shot with a meta laser." And Donnie's like, "That makes perfect sense. It's probably why he's in a coma. We probably just have to reverse the polarity to heal him." Like, how did you figure all that shit out? You didn't even know this thing existed 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, good job as the worst ninjas and the worst sons ever.
The worst.
Well, next up is another animation error. We got Leo's voice coming out of Raph at 10 minutes and 35 seconds. But the TMNT are off to find Shredder and save Splinter. Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady return to the Technodrome in the drill. Once again, coughing through the entire dusty trip and just, yeah.
Guys, if you were taking in that much debris from drilling through the ground, you would also be taking in lava.
But they're more concerned about their allergies.
They should have just shot themselves with the Medi laser.
Yeah. Either way, Krang is thrilled that they have the Medi laser, and he proceeds to fire it around like a Gatling gun. Oh, it's missing its directional control module, I guess. I don't know. Aiming is physiological. Just fucking point it. What are you doing?
This is also amazing. Because it wasn't bad enough to have one MacGuffin in the episode. You had to actually splinter off another part of it to be another MacGuffin. And it's so funny because he just walks up and starts uncontrollably blasting all around the Technodrome. And Shredder just looks at him and was like, "Was that really necessary?" Like he just thought Krang was going Wild West, shooting this thing all over the place. And he's just like, it's not me, it's the gun.
No, it's your android body who's having a minor seizure.
The directional control module is missing. Oh, of course, because it's not just a rifle. Did you try not moving your arms? We got to make a GIF out of that animation and put it in the Discord.
Will do. Until then, TMNT are up street level in the van, patrolling the streets for Shredder.
Yep.
And they found him just walking around on the street.
That was easy.
No, wait, it's just a hipster wearing a purple cape. So they're in St. Mark's. Oops. We need more of this. I want more of this in everything turtle related. An important facet of the Ninja Turtles is that they're based in New York City. I want more commentary about the turtles popping up on the sewer grate in St. Mark's and being like, well, we're not the weirdest thing here.
There should be like a Where's Waldo moment in every episode where they grab some random guy in purple and like, oh shit,
please,
it's not you. I just love that. Like you thought hipster. I was like, is that Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, it's a little bit Hercule Poirot. Next up, we get an infamous Raph quote.
What now, fearless leader?
Leo takes the whole team home to regroup with a new strategy. The TMNT have to bait and lure the Shredder back. So we finally have some high stakes here.
You're skipping the best part though.
What's that?
The turtles go off and do the whole patrol. They run into Sherlock and they're like, oh man, we can't find the Shredder anywhere. Let's go home and regroup. And they go home and April's like, well, they're complaining in the lair. I'm like, man, if only we had a clue. And then April, a fucking news reporter, remembers that she has a goddamn clue in her coat. It's just in her pocket that she pulls out the thing. She could have saved the whole trip.
Do you think she's just kind of evening the score once she was poisoned a few episodes ago and Splinter's like, go get the leaf back from the plant that poisoned you in the first place that I threw in the garbage?
Yep. I mean, there's so much about, like, she doesn't even tell them to go check out the place where the press conference was. She doesn't tell them about the basement where she found Splinter. They're just driving around aimlessly, and then they come back and she's like, oh yeah, I also had this thing. And then Donnie knows exactly what it is.
They drive around aimlessly until CBS refuses to put any more funding into it, and they reuse the exact same animation that they used for Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady breaking through the basement in the first place.
All right, yeah.
But through this, they can't seem to find the device that they're looking for. Shredder realizes that Splinter's rotting corpse is also missing from their resurfacing. So he wants to lay bait too, and he sends Bebop and Rocksteady out to do, and I quote, mindless violence and destruction. And naturally, they're very excited about this.
Change nothing of that line.
Yeah. Brilliant.
A+.
TMNT are still in the lair, worriedly pacing. Raph's out getting a bird's eye view on the blimp. Kind of precursor to the Night Watchman, I guess.
Yeah.
Leo says, Raph, what is up?
I am about 500 feet up.
Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Don take off on their cheapskates to go break up Bebop and Rocksteady thrashing across River City, which is apparently a thing. But I do just love that they got an opportunity to say that the cheapskates are a proper noun. So I'll take that as a win.
Yeah. Also, we get that spot where Donnie's wondering why Mikey isn't screaming cowabunga while they're on the cheapskates.
Well, to be honest, I'm getting kind of bored with it. Hey, how about this? Yabba dabba!
Nah, it's just not you.
Ninja Turtles arrive, coming up through the subway, I guess, from the 1, 2, F, and E trains where they converge, which, nope, not a thing.
Turtle power!
Do we have to just retire our like worst ninjas ever segment? Because I feel like they've just given up.
Yeah, I think we might need to at least kind of reconsider.
I mean, they just scream turtle power while exiting a subway, and then Raph drops a torpedo on Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, they drop a straight up bomb.
I'm pretty sure it's sneezing gas, but still, it's just one of those like, oh, you're not fucking around.
I mean, it's only sneezing gas if you actually read the product page on the side of the box that you bought the party wagon in.
I have to say, like, I think Shredder actually has like a great plan. You know, his whole idea of like drawing the turtles out with Bebop and Rocksteady so that they can run away, and then when the turtles go home, they can follow them back to their lair. The only problem is that they've definitely been there before.
But Shredder keeps forgetting somehow.
I know. Like, Shredder has found the exact frequencies to broadcast threats to the Turtles in their home, and Bebop and Rocksteady have canonically been there, but it's still this huge secret.
I'm not deriving anything from here. Like, a few episodes ago, Shredder is on record saying, like, oh, I forgot.
I love that this keeps coming up. They're just like, man, we got to find out where the lair is. Just all have collective amnesia every time they find it. My next favorite part about this whole plan is that he's not going to follow them home just to steal the other part of the gun that he needs. He's going to kill them with a grenade.
Yeah, Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady reveal their escape plan, and Shredder, in reference to the Turtles, has a gas grenade to, and I quote, finish them off once and for all. And for those of us Mirage readers,
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, the multiverse is calling out to you, Shredder.
After a commercial break, the TMNT are walking down a sewer tunnel, stealthily followed by Bebop, Rocksteady, and Shredder about 10 feet behind them, give or take.
Oh, yeah. It's real bad, y'all. They're not even hiding. They're not being sneaky. They're just following them.
Until Leo, also not sneaky, just pulls his sword out and looks at it and catches them in the reflection for no good reason.
Yeah, right? Like, what was Leo doing there? Was he just like, I want to check out how I look. I got to check my style. I'm going to look at myself in the reflection of my sword.
It's not like they made a noise behind him to make him suspicious or anything. He's just like, I'm going to look at my knives right now. Anyways, Leo calls them out. Shredder throws the grenade. Donnie bats it back with no effort, and there's no consequence at all.
Yeah, it falls down a hole. It doesn't go off. I'm pretty sure there's like some flowing water under there that we see, because at the end of this fight, Shredder winds up down that same hole.
But not before Michelangelo uses his magic nunchucks to make a sprinkler system out of a puddle. Yep. And then that turns into a full slip and slide for Bebop and Rocksteady to go down the hole of the sewer.
Bye.
And then Raph says,
Yo, Shredder, try one of these size on for size. Yeah.
6 out of 10 pun for Raph? I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, he's had better.
Shredder punches a lead pipe open to release steam, gas, / whatever.
You have knives in your hand.
Then he snatches a module and runs. Donnie trips him up by throwing a staff and whoa! 17 minutes and 27 seconds. Shredder falls down a sewer pipe. I feel so fucking robbed that we don't have more behind the scenes footage of the voice booth for this show, because I just want to see James Avery hamming it up. It's so good.
That would make all of this worth it. Honestly, like, I want that behind the scenes footage so bad.
It's criminal.
Because the voice acting makes this fun. There have been so many times in the last couple episodes where it looks like there's going to be a fight that happens, and instead of getting some of like the excellent fight choreography from the couple episodes of season 1, you just get this like dinky clothesline from Donnie's bow. It makes this lame sound as it hits off the wall, and then Shredder's just like, what? And falls down a hole.
But not before getting his cape stuck on something.
Nuggets!
Oh, and if you thought that was the end of the episode because the Turtles get the meta laser, you're wrong, because now they lost the directional control device.
Yeah, so Shredder takes that down the hole with him. Turtles run off to MacGyver the Medi laser, and Shred begs Krang for reinforcements. And then Krang sends two whole foot soldiers.
This is so weird. Krang is like, you want a whole battalion of foot soldiers for 4 measly mutants? Dude, they've taken out your battle station multiple times.
But this also does set up a rivalry between Bebop and Rocksteady and their brethren? Whoa. I don't know what to call them.
The robots?
Yeah, like they feel in competition with them. So there's progression there.
It's just so funny to me that Krang also has amnesia. Like, oh man, I can't believe you need these robots. Like, yeah, he needs everything.
He's been asking for them for a year. Either way, the Turtles realize this at the exact same time and disperse to beat Shredder to the punch.
So, like, it's not that Shredder is looking for the Turtles to get the gun and that the Turtles are looking for Shredder to get the directional device. It's that the Turtles originally go home to build their own. Shredder is standing randomly in the sewer, and a newspaper floats down out of a pipe, lands on Bebop's head, and it just happens to say that there's a brand new meta laser that's been built. What is this, the late edition newspaper? Where did that come from? Why are they even advertising this?
I thought they saw that on TV.
The Turtles see it on TV in the next scene.
Oh.
Because, like, again, the concept of time does not exist in this show.
I mean, I only watched this an hour ago and I'm already lost.
Like, it's so funny the amount of MacGuffins in this episode. It's not just the one gun, it gets split off because one of the parts falls off. Then it changes hands. Then both parts change hands. Then they have to go find a new one that the hospital built in like a day.
I mean, I know they come up with a second Medi laser rifle thing, but I don't recall so much of the backstory to it because it was all in the middle of the fight.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous. And it's just the fact that the hospital built a new one. Oh my god, it's so stupid.
You say this like that hasn't been happening for a full season before this.
It's just so funny to see it happen so many times. It's not just like, oh, one convenient thing happened. It's like every single time both the good guys or the bad guys fail, something randomly happens that fixes it.
I guess that's how they kind of tie an overarching story without making it completely character-based.
I guess.
Because as we've been touching on through this season 3 episode, like, characterization is kind of out the window.
I don't know. I'm not trying to make too big a deal out of it. I just think it's really funny that it's the second gun.
It is very funny, and it only gets funnier because Shredder unleashes his force of 4 on the team of crime fighters that have continuously beaten his army of hundreds. And let's kick some shell. It's a good fight. Shredder fires the laser at Leo. He reflexes the shot with his swords into the water, washing out the villains. Mikey sends his magic nunchucks to the rescue as he nabs the laser while Shredder and company get washed down the sewer. And then back at the lair, the Turtles use the Medi laser to revive Splinter, and then April vows to return to the hospital.
Yep. We do get another really great Shredder. No, not again!
We really just need a supercut of Shredder failures.
Oh, man. This was a fun one.
This was a fun one. It was a good intro into what would become, I guess, the standard for Turtle fandom. They had done so much work just getting the first 2 seasons out, getting that foundation built up for the story to build upon. And then, yeah, we keep our primary rivalry. I think the lesson here to learn is spoken beautifully by Leonardo.
One can never relax in the battle against evil.
Definitely not being subtle about the moral anymore.
Listen, I'm digging hard for these. Like, I'm looking for as much help as I can get because, honestly, I get to the end of these, I'm like, I didn't learn shit.
Well, I'm very curious to see if more episodes have like at times this episode felt like a PSA.
Yeah.
Like episodes in season 1 and 2 were like the ones that did have a moral. It was more baked into the actual story, where this just feels like, listen to your parents, kids. The more you know.
Ew. Gross. In the epilogue, Krang is admonishing Shredder, but he just yanks a metal plate